One day, Elijah called fire down from heaven in front of thousands of people. He watched 450 false prophets be defeated in a single afternoon. It was the greatest victory of his life. And then, just days later, he was sitting alone under a scraggly desert tree, begging God to take his life. How does someone go from calling fire from heaven to collapsing in the wilderness in 48 hours? And why, when God finally showed up to answer him, did he come in total silence? The answer will change how you understand what it means for God to speak, and how he meets people who are completely spent. To understand this, we have to go back to Mount Carmel, the greatest showdown in the Old Testament. Elijah challenged all 450 prophets of Baal. Whichever God answered with fire is the real God. Then Elijah prayed, and fire fell from heaven, consuming the altar, the sacrifice, even the water in the trench. 1 Kings 18:38. Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil, and also licked up the water in the trench. It was an undeniable miracle. The people fell on their faces and cried out, "The Lord, He is God." But then Queen Jezebel heard what happened, and she sent Elijah a death threat. One threat from one woman. And Elijah ran for his life. He fled deep into the wilderness alone. 1 Kings 19:3-4 tells us what happened next. He sat under a broom tree and prayed that he might die. "I have had enough, Lord. Take my life." That is not a man who has lost his faith. That is a man who is utterly exhausted. He didn't stop believing in God. He was talking to God. But he was completely and totally done. Now here is what God did not do. He did not lecture Elijah. He did not tell him to get a grip. God sent an angel who touched him gently and said, "Get up and eat." That's it. Just rest. Just food. 1 Kings 19:5-8. He lay down and slept under the bush. Then an angel touched him and said, "Arise and eat, for the journey is too great for you." The journey is too great for you. God acknowledged the weight. He didn't minimize it. He named it. Now we come to the part of this story that most people rush past, and it's the most important part. Elijah walked 40 days into the wilderness and hid in a cave on Mount Horeb, the same mountain where Moses met God. This is not an accident. The writer of 1 Kings is placing Elijah in the exact footsteps of Moses, deliberately. And God asked Elijah a question, not a rebuke. "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Elijah answered honestly, "I am the only one left, and they are trying to kill me." He believed he was completely alone, that he was the last faithful person on earth, that the mission had failed. Then God said, "Go out and stand on the mountain. I am about to pass by." First came a great wind, so powerful it tore the mountains apart and shattered rocks. But God was not in the wind. After the wind, an earthquake. The ground shook, but God was not in the earthquake either. After the earthquake, fire, and God was not in the fire either. And then, 1 Kings 19:12, and after the fire came a still small voice, or in some translations, a gentle whisper. The Hebrew phrase is kol demamah daqah, which literally means the sound of thin silence, not a whisper, not just quiet, a sound that is silence, like the moment after everything stops. And here is the thing most people miss. This is the original insight at the heart of this whole story. Elijah had just seen fire from heaven at Mount Carmel. He already lived in the spectacular, and it hadn't healed him. The wind, earthquake, and fire were not God's voice. They were a demonstration that God could speak in overwhelming power. But he chose to speak to a broken, burned-out prophet in a way that required absolute stillness to even hear. God was saying, I am not always in the dramatic. Sometimes I am only findable in the quiet. Quick question for you. Have you ever only been able to hear God after everything got very, very quiet? Drop A in the comments. When Elijah heard the silence, he pulled his cloak over his face and went and stood at the cave entrance. And God asked him the same question again. What are you doing here, Elijah? Word for word, identical. Elijah gave the exact same answer. I am the only one left. Nothing had changed in his mind, yet. But God didn't correct him harshly. He gave him a task. Go back, anoint these 3 men. The work continues. And then God told him something that would have completely shattered his I am the only one left story. Romans 11:2-4 quotes this moment directly. God replies, I have reserved for myself 7,000 who have not bowed the knee to Baal. 7,000, not one. 7,000 people, faithfully holding on, hidden from Elijah's sight, but not from God's. Elijah's burnout had made him believe a lie, that he was alone, that God's work had been reduced to one person. That is what exhaustion does to the soul. It narrows your vision until you can only see your own isolation. And the cure wasn't a sermon. It wasn't a scolding. It was sleep, food, a journey, and a whisper. So what does this mean for you? Not in ancient Israel, but on an ordinary Tuesday morning. Maybe you've been pouring yourself out at work, in ministry, in caregiving, and suddenly you're sitting under your own broom tree. And if you've ever thought, I'm the only one holding this together, that is Elijah's voice coming out of your mouth. Jesus said in Matthew 11:28, Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This is not a metaphor. This is the same God who told a burned-out prophet to sit down, eat, and sleep. Rest is holy. And maybe you're in a season where God feels completely absent. No fire, no miracles, just silence. Elijah's story says, the silence is not absence. Sometimes the silence is the voice, and it requires stillness to hear it. Psalm 46:10, Be still and know that I am God. The word still in that verse means to let your hands drop, to stop striving, to release the grip. And if you feel like the work has failed, like you are the only faithful one left, God has 7,000 things to show you that you cannot see right now. The burnout didn't disqualify Elijah. God gave him a new mission the very next day. He kept going for years after this. And Elijah didn't even die in the end. He was taken up to heaven in a chariot of fire. God wasn't finished with him. If you are in your cave right now, exhausted, invisible, and wondering if God has gone quiet, this story was written for you. God didn't show up in the wind or the earthquake or the fire. He showed up in the thing you have to stop everything to hear. He finds burned-out prophets under broom trees. He sends bread before he sends direction. He meets people where they actually are. And he will ask you the same question he asked Elijah, not as a rebuke, but as an invitation. What are you doing here? The answer you give doesn't have to be polished. Elijah gave the same broken answer twice, and God still sent him back out with a purpose. You don't have to earn your way back. The journey is too great for you, and God already knows that.